watched this one in prep work. I didn't want to watch it. I want to relive that heart attack, but I watched the 500. But yeah, it was a wild race for us last year. The position we were in, and on the point side, and getting in a wreck early, and just kind of riding around, and kind of having your fate out of your hands. Honestly, at that point, we couldn't make speed and stuff like that, and then you're just trying to finish. And heck, I think we still finished like 13th or something. So, but yeah, it's a wild race last year, and same thing this year. You got guys needing to win. The Bubba with the points deal, all they can do is just try to run their race. I mean, that's all that those guys can do, and same with everybody else. So it's nice not being in that spot, honestly, because that was pretty stressful.
What do you go into Darlington with, as far as whatever happens here happens? There's not a lot, it's going to be over with. The playoffs are going to start next week. What's your mindset going into to Darlington?
Yeah, just working hard, trying to find pace and speed, and you hope to bring your best stuff, and everyone's working really hard to try to figure out where we need to be, and so I feel good going into Darlington. Next week we had our cars were okay there in the spring. This race is a little bit different with it, getting into the night and stuff like that. So, this race, you always seem to have a lot of people have problems in this one. First race of the playoffs, it's the 500. It's a tough race to kind of finish. A lot of mistakes are made, so I think Darlington, you just have to, try to have a mistake-free night. Run all 500 miles of it, and figure out, where you're at the end of that thing. But yeah, I feel good about Darlington next week. Hopefully everyone's been working really hard at the racetrack trying to figure out some speed, and hopefully it shows.
Is that a different stress level, 500 miles there versus 500 miles here?
I wouldn't say it's a stress level thing. It's definitely, I would say, that the 500 at Darlington, I think it's the toughest race that we do. Track-wise, just like mentally draining, for that long. Trying not to make mistakes. It's so hard not to make any mistakes there, whether it's a driver or on pit road, tons of pit stops. So I'd say that's just the toughest race that we go to, period, just because it is really difficult.
You like the throwback aspect of it, just the going back to Darlington, whether it's a throwback race or not, it's just kind of a track that you like, regardless of the racing.
Yeah, I mean, I went there a lot watching Dad, and it's fairly close to home. So yeah, I just enjoy the area. I enjoy the racetrack, the people around there. They do a really good job at that place, and the infield there has been really dedicated folks for a long time. Ever since I've been racing, so it's always nice to see. And that weekend is just a fun weekend. So yeah, I like the area.
Given that your dad had his best Cup result at Darlington, how special would a win there be?
Yeah, it'd be neat. Give those guys about 3 more laps. I think he would have beat them. But or if they would start clowning around a little earlier, he might have got there. But yeah, I rewatched that race a lot, and it's a pretty amazing race. Obviously, the finish was fantastic, but the whole race was actually really good. So yeah, it'd be super cool. Dad comes to that race every year, so it'd be neat to do that. We were talking about it the other day. We won at Atlanta in 21, and it was like the 20-year anniversary that he. Yeah, it was 20-year anniversary that Wheel came off when he was running the Amoco car and should have won that race. And it was one Kevin Harvick won. And he was the best car all day. And Wheel come off the thing with like 100 to go. But and I called him after that. I was like, well, we got redemption for you 20 years later, so it'd be nice to maybe do that at Darlington. I think that's 20 years. Was
yeah,
finish
3? Yeah,
so maybe the cycles will work out for us. We'll see.
How's the playoff approach different this year, being locked in with a win versus last year and not knowing until the checker's here?
Yeah, it's definitely not stressful. We went in here. We not only did we have to worry about, there's 2 spots left. Me and Martin were in. If a new person won, one of us was out, but we were close on points, right? So you're trying to have this points battle with that group. So that was stressful, and then you're also, trying not to. Hopefully no new winner comes to where that points battle didn't matter. But yeah, it was definitely a stressful week, a stressful race, especially when we got wrecked and we couldn't do anything. You couldn't race up in the pack, so you don't know what's going to happen. So you couldn't control anything. So definitely a lot nicer. I got more hair this year, so that's good.
What was the night before like going into the? I mean, do you know what Bubba's going to feel like on Saturday night? All the thoughts going through his head, stomach churning. I mean, how do you
What are you feeling? How do you control it once this race that is almost completely out of your hands?
Yeah, I mean, it's stressful. I mean, because you are here, and it a lot of opportunities for a bunch of different winners can happen, and you just never know. It's not that who's got the best car, like other racetracks. It's kind of who survives it, and then who can make good moves at the end of the race. So, yeah, I mean, he and I talked a little bit about it. Obviously I was in a very similar position to him last year, and I was nervous. But I think once you get in the race car, like all that goes away. You just now you're focused on your job, and you can actually do what you've been looking forward to for 6 days. So. Yeah, maybe the night before, you don't sleep well, but I just feel like I kept in the back of my head, you can't control it. You just got to do the best job that you can as a team, and everything else is just kind of fate, right? So just don't try to control things or stress out about things you can't control yourself. I think that's kind of the best way, at least looking back on it. That's kind of how I maybe wish I handled that situation even more so that way. It's easy to say that after you've been through it, right? But yeah.
Did you change